As chairman of a local government, you have a lots and lots of demands from the people, cut across provision of potable water to the people, good drainages, electricity for rural folks and rural areas, habitable road that will link communities and one community.
The statutory allocations to local governments that should allow them to operate are for the most part spent by state governments, and they do not even reach local governments. Therefore, they do not have the resources to perform their functions.
Most local councils, and I make no exclusion, almost all over the country, are lying prostrate. Most of them cannot perform their constitutional functions because of the overbearing influence of their excellencies. The states seem to have swallowed the local governments and make them mere appendages of their respective administrations. And I think this is wrong.
The autonomous power of council administration nationally should be a thing of serious concern and should be given an approval so that we will be of a serious assistance to the state government and the national government. This is what we call channels of development. The councils will be performing, the state government will be doing theirs, where the federal government will also be playing their role. Jointly with this chain, I think Nigeria will be developing fastly.
The Federal Republic of Nigeria, by all description, a land of abundance, operates a tripod tier of government: federal, state, and local government. This is meant to bring the dividend of democracy closer to the people. There are 768 local governments in the 36 states of the Federation and 6 area councils in the Federal Capital Territory, making it a total of 774 local authorities in the country.
Ensure that teachers in the council area get, well paid and salary as and when due. Intervene where necessary, that is complementing the effort of Primary Education Board. Where they failed or where they could not be able to do, we augment their effort. These are essentially what local councils do. Then at the local government, that's the secretariat where bureaucracy, takes effect, we coordinate and ensure that they are always on seat and ensure that these derivable services are achieved. And then we coordinate activities of traditional institutions.
I think because of their closeness to the grassroots, the cry nationally for autonomous power of the local government and area councils, as the case may be, has become paramount because of a lot of responsibilities on the council's administration. First and foremost, if you can hear any outbreak of a pandemic of disease, something like dysentery, something like measles, something like chickenpox, and a lot of other diseases, is mostly from the grassroots. And the responsibility of a local government administration is to respond promptly to rescue the situation before many lives is being claimed. So primarily, the primary healthcare delivery of Nigerian system of governance, particularly in the way we are finding ourselves today, is the duty of the local government administration.
The functions of local government as detailed in the Nigerian Constitution include economic recommendations to the state, collection of taxes and fees, establishment and maintenance of cemeteries, burial grounds, and homes for the destitute or infirm, licensing of bicycles, trucks, other than mechanically propelled trucks, canoes, wheelbarrows, and carts. Others are the establishment, maintenance, and regulation of markets, motor parks, and public conveniences. construction and maintenance of roads, streets, drains and other public highways, parks and open spaces, naming of roads and streets and numbering of houses, provision and maintenance of public transportation and refuse disposal, registration of births, deaths and marriages, as well as the assessment of privately owned houses or tenements for the purpose of levying such rates as may be prescribed by the House of Assembly of a state, and control and regulation of outdoor advertising, movement and keeping of pets of all descriptions, shops and kiosks, restaurants and other places for sale of food to the public, and laundries.
The responsibilities of local governments are very difficult to understand today because the statutory responsibilities, a lot of them are not being performed. For example, markets, running of primary school education, primary health care centers are all local government functions. The reality today, however, is that you have national agencies that run a lot of these functions alongside local government. So when you look at the statutory responsibilities of local governments, a lot of them are not being performed by the local governments today. And the reason, of course, is simple. There is a real decline of real resources available to local governments, so they are not able to perform most of their functions.
Though legislation has specified the functions and responsibilities of the local government, most of these responsibilities are subject of conflict in most states and the Federal Capital Territory. Honorable Shaba Ibrahim, who was chairman of Association of Local Governments of Nigeria in Kogi State, is calling for reforms to allow elected local officials function according to constitutional provision.
The National Assembly is on top of it, I can assure you. And it is an executive problem, strictly. I don't know where one arm of government want to muzzle the other. But when you have a system where one man can determine the fate of everybody, one man can determine who becomes the chairman, and you understand? Whether under a democratic setting or a pseudo-democratic setting, or semi-democratic, because in most cases, these chairmen are handpicked and they just go there, get the blessing of whoever is in charge, you are good to go. So I think that we need to do a lot in that direction by ensuring that not only are those laws, extant laws, there in the books, we must give effect to the spirit and the content of the law. That is the only way you can free the local government from this suffocating grip of their excellencies.
Interaction and collaboration with traditional institutions as well as community leaders have been one of the most effective ways the local councils utilize to keep tabs and stay on top of issues at the grassroots levels.
We are working hand in hand. Our working relationship is being cemented. The security challenges is being checkmated by all the parties, the council administration and the traditional institutions. Graciously also, we are doing the best we can in terms of logistics support. And they are appreciative and they respond promptly if there is any security challenge in their domain without even sometimes my consent. And it's just because we have established a very good working relationship and it's working for us. We're getting the result. The result-oriented one is also encouraging us to do more.
We work in synergy in the area of provision of security, right? We coordinate them to coordinate their people to ensure that, strange faces are fished out, hooligans are identified, all right? And then our security agencies are informed so that they take action. It is only the traditional ruler that does this. Where are they staying? They are staying with the local councils. No chiefs fly over there to say, I'm a chief of federal government. No. So these are things that local councils coordinate the traditional institution to get things better done for their people.
Experts therefore shun the interference of states in local government affairs, which according to them renders local authorities ineffective towards the discharge of their mandate.
The problem is, in most states in this country, governors are extremely powerful, and for selfish reasons, governors do not want local governments to operate in a functional way, and they do everything in their power to frustrate local governments by refusing to allow them hold elections, by refusing to give them their statutory allocation that comes from the federation account, and by removing elected chairpersons and councillors and replacing them with people they want to run the local governments.
The local government area, or LGA, is divided into wards across all states of Nigeria, and each ward elects a single member to its local council. Each LGA is further subdivided into a minimum of 10 and a maximum of 20 wards. A ward is administered by a councillor who reports directly to the LGA chairman. The councillors themselves serve in the legislative arm of the local government. These provisions are meant to communicate effectively the yearnings of the people.
It is the councillors that are supposed to oversight, the chairman. But you see, most states, you see state assemblies going all over the place asking for financial records of local government. What's the job of the Auditor General of Local Government and their respective local government legislative councils? Unless and until we are able to keep everybody in a near watertight compartment, let everybody hold his lane, progress is going to be difficult at that level.
In the Federal Capital Territory, the 6 area councils of Gwagwalada, Kwali, Kuje, Abaji, Buari, and the Abuja Municipal Area Council, AMAC, form the lowest level councils within the Abuja FCT. The Gwagwalada Area Council was created on the 15th of October, 1984.
With the increase of our funding as it is gradually picking, the economy is gradually picking, so the public of the area council, the entire citizens and residents of Gwagwalada Area Council will feel the impact of the increasing economic capacity of the Nigeria and Gwagwalada Area Council inclusive, because transparent matters a lot. It's one thing to have the resources. It's another thing to use the resources for the benefit of the public, and we are conscious of that.
Located about 47 kilometers away from the Abuja city center, the chairman of the Gwagwalada Area Council, Honorable Adamu Mustafa Danse, is proud of most of his achievements.
On your way to this secretariat, the second layer of that road you followed is under construction. The MC1 has been applied. Any moment from now, the asphalt will be ready. I think before the week runs out, the contractor will be on the site to lay the asphalt. And after he is able to finish the second lane, all those potholes you are talking about will be rehabilitated. And that is, I'm confidently telling you that, and in the next few weeks, if you come, those potholes will no longer be there.
The Abuja Municipal Area Council, AMAC, was created in October 1984, and Abuja officially became Nigeria's administrative and political capital in December 1991 and was then nicknamed the Center of Unity. Abuja City is managed by the Abuja Municipal Area Council, and the chairman of AMAC is Abdullahi Adamu Candido.
If you go to all the 12 wards, I'm telling you, you must see one thing or the other that was provided by local councils. Every ward has one item or the other, ranging from road, drainages, water, electricity in some rural areas, not all the areas because it's not going to be possible, and security effort. every of these items, if you go to our localities, you must identify one thing or the other with this administration. And so I hate to speak my trumpet, but the people can speak better.
An elected council is made up of an executive chairman, vice chairman, and councillors, with councillors representing the legislative arm of the local council. While some Nigerians believe the local governments have ceased to function in line with their defined roles within the constitution, agitation for more autonomy has been in the forefront.
Because local councils are shortchanged in so many ways, it is even the reason for breeding all these security challenges all over. Because if you allow the local councils to operate freely and you allow them have access of funds, all you need to do is to make sure that you make a searchlight of monitoring, okay, so that whatever they are receiving is transparently, judiciously utilized, so that there shouldn't be any abuse of funds. If you do that, then you are doing what you are supposed to do. Then allow them to have this free flow of services, of money, so that they can transfer the service. Unfortunately, very unfortunately, that in my 5th-year experience now, I've discovered that local councils are not freely allowed to operate.
Increased autonomy is very important for local governments and for Nigerian citizens in general. They want to see government closest to them, where they can go and engage, where they can go and make demands, where they can see action being taken to address their specific needs. It's therefore a collective responsibility for all Nigerians to ensure that local government operates as the Constitution says and in the correct way that it should.
Another area of conflict, particularly between the state governments and local authorities, revolves around the collection and management of funds. Taxes are collected by all levels of government, with local government being responsible for collecting license fees for haulage, hawking, markets, as well as motor and commercial drivers' levies. All revenue collected is pooled in the federal account, which is in turn split across the 3 strata of government.
There is a constitutional provision that says local governments can get their funds directly without going through the joint state account, which is run by the state governments. That provision was fought for many years by state governors. It is currently operational. But in spite of that, in many states, governors are still able to frustrate local governments and ensure that they do not get the resources that's due to them.
The state is supposed to contribute maybe, I think it's 5% of its IGR to that common till, so that they will now redistribute at the state level. The allocation that's coming from the federal is there. The state is supposed to add its own. I made bold to say that majority of the state have obeyed this provision in its breach. There are states where the local government has been so muzzled that they are mere, I mean, those who are administering the councils just take pittance from their excellencies. And so what do you expect at the grassroots level? The law is there. It's the will to obey it that is a problem. And I shudder to think of the reaction of their excellencies if the federal government was doing exactly the same thing with them. Because it's the relationship that is between the federal and the state that is supposed to be between the state and the local government. These are tasks of government.
The official sharing formula of the statutory allocation from the Federation account gives the federal government 52.68% of the fund. The states get 26.72% each, while the 774 local government councils are entitled to 20.60%. Of the revenue from value-added tax, VAT, federal government receive 15%, states 50%, while local government councils get 35%. Experts say this sharing formula is only in theory, as the state usually collects more than 40% and sends a portion to the local government at its discretion. Research has, however, shown that the situation varies with what is obtainable in the Federal Capital Territory.
I am graciously reporting that FCT administration does not hold our fund. They give transparently whatever is allocated to us, and we are making good use of it, just as I mentioned. But in other cases, many of our local governments out there are not enjoying the same resources we are enjoying. So it is my ample opportunity to call on Nigerian government and those that have the power to be, particularly the National Assembly, that the autonomous power of council administration nationally should be a thing of serious concern.
In the Federal Capital Territory, not a single dime is deducted by FCT administration. We receive our federation allocation money direct from the federal allocation. The only thing that links us up with FCT is the meeting that we sit down to, reappraise what, came around for this month, and then it's shared. Even the sharing formula is not done by the FCT administration, it's from the federation body there. So we collect it direct from the source, all right? But what is only, making things to be difficult between we and FCT administration is where we have conflict of interest. And our defense is in the area of constitution.
To address this challenge, the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit has issued an advisory forbidding the tampering with statutory local government allocations, granting local government direct access. In contrast, the Nigeria Governors Forum, which comprises the 36 state governors, have kicked against the move.
If you should change the local council officials, you are not just intimidating the local council officials, but you are intimidating socio-economic development of the people, because the people will not get what is expected of them. You see deficit in infrastructure. You see deficit in all things that it's meant to, to provide service to the people. Once you intimidate the local council and you send them out of job, then it will affect the communities. And that is what I say. Even the security challenge we are having today, I'm telling you, if you allow the local council to really operate and do what is expected of them, right, the service that is going to be provided for the local council will be better. Because the state don't have anything, they have very little to do. Very, very little to do. 80% of the responsibility lies on local council. And I think the local council should be allowed time and opportunity to freely operate, so that side by side the federal government, while the federal government is looking at the external forces, okay, securing the nation, let administration be properly conducted by local council so that the people can see things better.
The decline in the delivery of social services at the local government level has been growing over the past 2 decades, and experts say local authorities have been found wanting with their hands tied to their backs.
Even in a place like Abuja, where local governments are functional, you can see they are not allowed to run the markets. It's the FCT administration that runs the markets directly itself, rather than allow the local governments in the FCT to run the markets. So there's a long history of frustration of local governments. And the result of that is that local governance has declined significantly. And it's because local governance has declined that the problem of insecurity has worsened considerably in recent years. Because the presence of local government is simply not there. They are not addressing the problems that confront the people. The local government doesn't even know who lives in the local government.
There are speculations that suggest many citizens have lost interest in participating in activities within their local councils, and most especially in demanding accountability at the local government level. Some residents of Abuja have no idea who their local government representatives are.
Do you know who your local government chairman is in your locality?
No.
Why not?
Because I've not done research.
Do you know where the local government office is?
No.
So how long have you been living in your locality?
That's going to 3 years now.
3 years?
Yes.
So who is your local government chairman?
I don't know.
Do you know where the office is?
local government is I think I've heard about it, but I've not really gone to. I don't really know the precise venue location where it is.
So tell us, how long have you been living here?
3 years now.
Do you know who your local government chairman?
No, I don't know him. No, I don't.
Do you know where the local government office is?
No, I don't.
The inability of local authorities to perform their responsibilities have gradually led to a decline in the delivery of local services, which has in turn put more pressure on the federal government. Nigerians and civil society organizations have been urged to wake up to the realities, especially in their localities.